Hi, Bert.
Hi.
In this world, I mean, I'm being completely honest with you, okay? Right now,
Yeah.
in front of everybody,
Uh-huh.
of all the people I've ever met in my life,
Mm-hmm.
you're the most loving person I've ever met.
Oh,
So
thank you.
somewhere in you,
Uh,
what's your secret?
oh, sweet.
How can the rest of us feel like this? And how can
Mhm.
the other people have someone like you to love in their lives? Where does this love come from?
Uh,
What is the truth?
yeah. The wonderful thing about life is that we are life itself, the totality, the wholeness of it. So when we think we are unhappy or unfulfilled, it's only because we think we are separate. We're separate from the totality. We begin to feel as if we are not complete. But in truth, we are complete. And that is the truth that I would like to reach to people everywhere. Is that whoever is listening is complete.
So, if you could give someone one tidbit that you think somehow is responsible for your being this beautiful, kind, loving person you are today, or in this moment, if there was one little tidbit, is it is that the tidbit, or do you have a different tidbit? Okay, second tidbit. Okay, you gave us one, and we want a second one. We want it all.
Same tidbit.
Okay.
It's the same. There is no one who is better than another.
Wow.
We think that way because we want so much to be the beautiful self we know in our hearts we are, but we identify with the body, we identify with limitation. And so we feel we are separate. But in truth, we are complete being. You're a human being. In truth, you are being playing the human role.
Wow. I'm speechless. I don't have any more questions. You answered it all.
Well, yeah. One of the things important is that we cannot teach truth. So the only way to reach another is to look at them with the love that you feel that they really are.
And that's the way you look at me.
Yeah.
So that's why I see love in you.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. So
can you repeat that? Because I think people would love to hear that.
Yeah. See, we think we are separate. And so the way you've talked about me is wonderful, and thank you. But there is no one who is better than another. See, there is only of how we can be what we already are in our heart. So the love that we feel we want, the happiness that we feel we want, we are already it.
And you remind people of that. That's what's going on. You're just reminding people of what they
and
really
we become reminders to everyone we meet.
You in particular.
By living them. You see? By living through them. In other words, you see them as that already. So we are a product of what we see. Ordinarily, people feel that they are separate and they are not complete. And so they want to learn truth by reading books, by taking courses, by going to teachers, which is all right in a way. But the truth is that you cannot learn truth by knowing about love and peace and joy, but to feel it, to experience it in the heart as already present in you now. Because that is the very nature of being. Yeah. And this totality, this wholeness which we are, because there aren't many people in the world. There aren't 7 billion humans. There is only one.
Wow.
There's only one of us. And that is something that the mind can't understand. But the truth is, we call that God. But we are that. We're not separate from that at all, and we can never be. In fact, we were never born.
So the seeming love between two people is simply the oneness loving itself.
Very good.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
And the loving itself is kind of like, you could kind of look at it like father and son.
Yes.
You know, loving itself.
Like
itself
the Holy
is
Spirit
the son.
says, the Father
Right.
and Son.
Yeah,
Yes.
loving itself. It's beautiful.
That's right. And
Yeah.
the reason the word son is used, because son means every human living being.
Mm-hmm.
And the Father is the creator of that
Mm-hmm.
son. And that son and the Father
Mm-hmm.
are one.
Loving, so that it's one, but it's one loving itself, which is sort of like a father-son kind of
That's
feeling
right.
or a sense
That's right.
of love.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And seeing that reflection at all times. Never seeing a separation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason there is so much suffering in the world, and wars and strife and unhappiness and guilt, is because there is the idea that we are separate from each other.
Wow, so just undoing that one idea and bingo.
Undoing that one idea, not by just reading about it or
No.
by being told, but by actually feeling it already as the case right now.
Exactly.
This moment.
Exactly. So exactly right now, there's no such thing as separation.
No such
There's
thing.
never
because
been.
time and space
Wow.
do not exist. And so what is truth? Truth is that there is no time, there's
Mm-hmm.
no beginning, there is
Mm-hmm.
no end.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you are the epitome of everything you've ever wanted.
Wow.
And it's there presently. So the moment we become still and become empty,
Mm-hmm.
empty means empty from association with a world that doesn't really exist, with a world that's really based on our mind's creation.
Right.
But in truth, we just are.
Mm-hmm.
And in that ourness and allowing that to be, we are.
And so it's as though the seemingly separate world now becomes like this happy, loving, real dream as we forgive, embracing us.
That's right. That's right.
And so where we thought we saw separation, now all we see is oneness.
That's all we see is one.
Is love. And it's not just we see love, it's the feeling of one loving another, but there's only one.
But there's only one.
Exactly.
So when
amazing.
you're loving another, you're loving yourself.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Right. And so you see that you are the very thing that you want.
Mm-hmm.
See, and it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you want it means you're it.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yes.
Yeah. And so when you see it in another, it is because you are seeing it in yourself, in that other. So then that's why we call it love. So what is love? You see?
Exactly. What is
the
it?
oneness seeing itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It is not achieved, it is not attained, it is not grown into it. It is simply seeing that that's all that there is. There is no time, there is no space, there is no beginning or end. We were never born. We were always, always, always as pure awareness. And then according to history, according to what people have discovered, that there was a big bang. But there wasn't really. There was only the need of the human making the mistakes as what it would be like to be different, to be separate. You see? And in that moment, we created a separation.
And we believed it.
And we believed it.
And most people believe it right now.
That's right. And it is that sense of separation that creates the war within ourselves. And all the wars outside are that separation, wanting to win one than another. So by overcoming another, we think we are gaining. But what we're doing is we're killing ourselves.
Right, it's us.
You see?
So that's very interesting. So the problem is this wish to be separate. But most people would say, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. What's going on? I don't think that.
Yeah.
But then when you look at all the things that occur in your life that seem to cause problems, and you're really honest with your thoughts in regard to them, they were always about a desire to be separate. So what happens is you go from hearing this idea, yeah, we're not separate, we're one, isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
To saying, oh my God, it's true.
Yeah.
Slowly through the process of forgiveness, looking at our craziness and seeing the pattern going out over and over again.
And by seeing
how silly it is.
And how silly it is.
Yeah.
When you begin to see how crazy the ego is, because the ego is the outside thinking that it is the body, that it is separate from others. But in reality, there's no such thing. It's all one. It's all one big party.
It's beautiful.
You see? It's all one heaven.
And you're the king of the party.
That's what you're seeing.
I know, I'm just kidding. And I'm the queen, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And we're all there. There's no kings or queens. We're just at the party together.
There's only
oneness.
Here. There's only here.
There's only oneness, right? And even that, my complimenting you, which is beautiful, but it's still it's really a separating gesture, in a way.
It is your heart seeing itself.
Yeah. Okay, that's a better way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's my heart seeing
that's
itself.
Right.
When that's me, I see in you. That's hard to imagine because you're just so beautiful.
So that's the way it is. We are complete. And when we think we are going to learn about it, we think we have to study. There is no study and there is no learning. There is only being. And that being is just like taking a deep breath. I am complete. Yeah. The reason there is so much suffering in the world, and it's obvious that there is a lot of suffering, is because we have that guilt saying, no, you're not complete. No, you've got lots to gain. There is something wrong with you. And that is the lie we tell ourselves. And the lie we carry in our daily life, in our moments. But in truth, it is a lie. Because we are the very thing we want more than anything. And it cannot be any other way. And that is heaven. That is the heaven. Yeah.
So being in heaven with you, or feeling in heaven with you, is that heaven?
Yeah.
It's the heaven of oneness.
The heaven of oneness. Because you see that and you feel that. Yeah. It's the same when you get to know someone and they become a very good friend. It becomes like a family, camaraderie. That is part of you in them, and they see it in you.
Wow. And
that is that's all it is. It is the seeing.
It's the seeing.
It's the seeing. And the seeing is simply seeing what really is, because you're empty. See, if you're guilty, you cannot see it. If you feel there's something needs to learn, you cannot see it. If you feel that somehow you haven't got it, you don't see it.
So with regard to the guiltiness, if you suddenly feel guilt, so you're getting closer and closer to the absolute belief in the idea that there's only this one thing happening, and you're actually experiencing it, and you're feeling yourself being pulled towards the experience that you've had before. You come and go and you get pulled out of it, and suddenly you have a thought, a memory, and with that thought comes guilt. So that might just be a made-up memory at the moment, but it seems to pull you out of that oneness state. So is there a way to come across that guilty thought, but just keep on persevering through it to the other side?
That's beautiful. That is a beautiful question, and then we can end this by saying the following. Okay, everyone feels some form of guilt that they've done something wrong and they shouldn't. Our religions and our society and our political system, everything teaches us what did we do wrong, how we need to improve. In truth, we don't need to improve. We need to look at how beautiful we already are in our very innocence. Okay. And by seeing our innocence in the moment, it begins to flower. and show itself complete. When the guilt is not there, by forgiving it, okay, we keep returning back to innocence.
And we recognize that it was really made up.
And it's all, yeah.
That's not real. There's no truth to it.
It's not real. Just picture in your mind a very sweet puppy, full of love, full of joy. It's there. It's inbred in their innocence. You see, and you love them. Okay, we have that in us, but if we don't see it as already decays, then we suffer guilt. Guilt means there's a feeling in me that I'm not complete. There is something wrong. What am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? See? That very saying is, quote, the guilt.
Right.
So therefore, we have one thing which is very powerful, and Course in Miracles, incidentally, makes it very clear. Okay? It's called forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
Yeah. So the moment you begin to feel that there's a feeling, uneasy feeling, I don't feel joy. Okay?
Any little irritation, even the slightest.
Yeah.
Slightest irritation. Right?
It's okay. You see, you don't try to get rid of it. You don't try to make it wrong, because if you make wrong into another wrong, then it doubles into a triple wrong.
Right.
So you don't make wrong as wrong. You make wrong as, I need to forgive it. See?
Like, for instance, a sudden pain in my ankle.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, oh, I broke my ankle, or my neighbor accidentally banged the door on my ankle, instead of that, it's just a temporary sensation that doesn't have any meaning to it whatsoever.
Yes. In other words, you don't blame anyone or anything, because the moment you do, you're throwing it out of yourself, which it returns back to you.
Right.
Anything, it's a boomerang.
And the same thing with nutrition, in a way. If nutrition is a trick to blame yourself and cause yourself this endless idea that I ate the wrong thing, it's my fault, and it's nobody's fault.
That's right. We're doing that all the time. We're always trying to find how to be better. Remember one thing, there is no such thing as
exactly.
better.
So it's all a trick.
It's all a trick.
It's all a mind game.
The word better is another word game.
It's a mind game to pull us out of the truth, which is...
We only need to keep forgiving ourselves moment to moment to moment. And the key point is, how do we forgive ourselves? Very simple. The moment you find yourself not feeling complete, not feeling happy, not feeling the love that you always are, you take a deep breath. Exhale. This is not, I'm innocent. I'm pure. Yeah. I am. That word I am. Did you know that there's only one I am?
That's you. I liked your little exercise, honestly.
Yeah, that's great.
Wasn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is beautiful.
It made me feel like a kid within 2 seconds.
You're beautiful. Okay. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.